This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. Prison break. An inmate's reckless attempt at escape.
It's a terrible feeling. It's scary to know that you're going to die.
Includes a hijacking, a kidnapping, and a car chase.
The suspect was pretty desperate.
Plus,
could hear the alert sound, but no dispatcher's voice.
a mysterious dispatch.
Maybe she's trying to get our attention because somebody's broken into the office.
Turns out to be a silent cry for help on Rescue 911.
In the early 1980s, the St. Albans Correctional Center in Vermont housed nearly 75 inmates. Although many were serving time for violent crimes, some were allowed to take part in an outside-the-prison work program aimed at getting them ready for eventual release back into society.
On May 3, 1982, inmates who had earned work privileges left the grounds of the medium security prison around 7:30 a.m., supervised by Michael Otte.
I was a correctional officer in charge of an outside defense detail. Picking up garbage, cutting lawns, stuff like that. Took them out every day, and most of the inmates were pretty decent people, and they treated me well, I treated them well, so I didn't have any fear of them. I'd been on the job for about 4 or 5 months. I never had a problem with them up till this one day. I was not armed at the time. The Department of Corrections policy is that we do not carry weapons while we're involved with inmates, basically due to the fact that if an inmate was to take you hostage, then they'd have a weapon. Even now, sometimes I have the nightmare. So.
Is that everything? Yeah.
We were pulling out of Knight's Point, where we'd stop to drop off one of our broken tools.
All right. Hey, come on, Freddie. Oh, man, what are you doing? Oh, shut it. Crazy.
I was just so shocked. I just took my foot off the gas and let the vehicle roll.
What are you pulling over for? It's stalled. Well, we'll start the damn thing. Come on, Freddie, come on, will you? Shut up. Come on, now, let's go. Come on, right up the road here. You guys, shut up.
I don't have any idea how far I drove. It seemed like for hours.
I'd have killed you right here.
The man who had taken Otte hostage was serving a 23-year sentence for armed robbery and had a reputation for instability.
Take a left right in this cornfield, right here, right here.
I don't think I wanted to think what was going to happen.
Take a left right here.
So I just kind of blocked it out, concentrated on driving, and I had several nicks on my throat, so I wasn't particularly happy with bumpy roads.
All right, right in here. Come on, pull in here.
There's nothing I could do. It's a terrible feeling. It's scary to know that you're going to die.
When we continue.
I could see in the mirror on the driver's door that the passenger was holding what appeared to be a knife to the driver's throat.
Otte's hands were tied behind his back with rope by another inmate. He was then secured to a tree with adhesive tape.
You guys coming?
It seemed like he didn't have any plan or anything. It was just a spur-of-the-moment thing, and he really didn't have any idea what he was doing. With inmates, there's a code that you can't squeal on somebody, and you can't help a guard. I knew they couldn't help me, but they really did because they tied me very loosely so that I could get free without too much trouble.
Okay, let's get going. We got a long ways to go.
I gathered the other inmates and we headed down the road to the nearest house where I made a call to the correctional center to inform them that there was an escape, and from there they called the state police.
Leo,
73-year-old May Lamont was at home with her 81-year-old husband, Leo.
It startled me so. I just run into the house and put in the telephone call to the rescue squad.
This is May Lamont. The senior's bus has just run into the ditch on our road.
That's what I thought it was. And I knew if anyone had been in the back of that van, that they would have been injured.
The town's volunteer rescue squad was dispatched, including EMT Gary Tourville, who worked less than 2 miles away.
Gone into the ditch in front of Lamont's place.
Got it.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Is there anyone else down there?
No, just me.
You want to come in and use the phone?
Is it okay?
Gary arrived at the scene within a few minutes.
You okay, sir? Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, I'm just gonna back over here. I'll be right with you.
I went to the telephone intending to call a wrecker. I think I was so frightened, I just passed out.
May's husband, Leo, was already very ill with a serious heart condition.
It probably was only 2 or 3 seconds. I wasn't out very long. Just then, Gary came in. He couldn't believe what he was seeing.
Truck, it's right out here. I'll go with you. Let them go. All right, turn around. Just take it easy, okay? May, you okay, May?
I thought Leo was going to have a heart attack because I knew how sick he had been, you know. Then this convict went to Gary and told him, I've got a knife at your throat and you do what I tell you. And they walked out the door.
All right, you're driving here. Okay.
I wanted to run after him and knock the knife out of his hands, but I couldn't move. That man looked desperate. I called the state police, and they wanted a description of the man that had held us up.
Yes, help us. A man came in with a knife.
Just received a call from a Mrs. Lamont.
As soon as May's call came in, police in the area were given a description of the situation and the vehicle involved.
I believe it is the corrections van from the way that she described it.
Confirming that Gary Tourville is the...
Essex police officer Mike Brooks heard the call while on routine patrol.
While I was going through an intersection in Essex Village, I observed a truck that was similar color and description.
Last seen headed east on Route 2 through South Hero Village. Be advised that that subject may be armed and dangerous.
When I called in the plate number to our dispatcher, she immediately called back and said she just received word from the state police and this was a vehicle they were looking for.
Damn, another cop.
I could see only one person in the truck because my view was obstructed. He kept looking in his mirror and looking right at me, but the vehicle wasn't pulling over. I just maintained my distance behind the truck and radioed in my position to the dispatcher to coordinate assistance for me.
Backup units were dispatched. Lieutenant Robert Yandow was among those who responded.
I'll stay on 2A. If he takes on industrial, you guys stay with him. Okay.
When I heard that he was going to be making an attempt to stop the vehicle, that's when I left the office with Gary and Robin to lend whatever assistance we could to Lieutenant Brooks.
As I got closer to the truck, I could see in the mirror on the driver's door that the passenger was holding what appeared to be a knife to the driver's throat. I asked for a roadblock once the vehicle turned and started heading towards South Burlington.
Be advised that a roadblock is being set up now on Route 2.
Police units from Essex and South Burlington joined forces to form the roadblock.
Come on, go around him. Hit
Once they started to proceed around the roadblock, it became obvious to us that the suspect was pretty desperate and was urging the victim to continue on. At that point, it appeared to be at any cost. The fact that they got on the interstate not only surprised everyone, but gave us an advantage that we wouldn't have had if they'd have stayed on a congested road.
We're coming up on your left side. Okay, I copy. I'm on left. Go for it.
Everybody maneuvered their vehicles to box in the suspect.
Robbie on the right. We got him boxed in.
Hit him, come on. Hit this guy on the left. Come on, hit him. Hit him again, come on.
Stay around him, Rob. Stay with him. Back off a little, Ernie. Maybe we can slow him down.
Once we had the vehicle boxed in, no one was going to allow that situation to digress to the point where it would be out of control again. The victim hostage had no choice but to slow down and ultimately stop.
Let's quit.
When I turned to look, all I was doing was looking down the barrel of an awful lot of guns.
Nice and easy. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop it. Drop it. Don't move.
These officers had no idea which one of us was which. They'd just been through a very tense situation.
Nice and easy.
Both were taken out of the vehicle at gunpoint. Both were physically restrained and detained until we were certain that the person driving was actually the victim.
Once we get in by here, we'll get you out. Okay.
Okay, Gary, you can get out.
They were just doing what they were supposed to do. They did an admirable job. You couldn't have asked them to do any better.
Watch your hand.
Nobody pulled a trigger.
You're not hurt at all? You don't need an ambulance?
No, I want to.
The man arrested that day was charged with assault and kidnapping. He was transferred to a higher security prison where he later committed suicide. After several years of trying, prison guard Michael Oddy could not forget the traumatic events of that day. He finally left his job at the prison.
I believe that he would have killed me. I have no idea why he didn't. He threatened it enough times. But it's like even today I have a hard time driving down that road because I hit one certain spot and I can remember it very vividly.
In the years since the incident, Gary Tourville has kept in touch with the now widowed May Lamont.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, May.
Gary was wonderful, and I owe my life to Gary Tourville. I believe that fellow would have killed us if it hadn't been for him. And I think that ride was one of the wildest rides that anyone ever took.
It's all part of something you were doing, and it just happened you were there at that moment, and you did something that you knew you had to do. It's fun to sit down and talk about it, and go, okay, I've ran roadblocks, and I've rammed into police cars, and I've been handcuffed and frisked, and it's okay, but what's next? It was a Monday. What do you do for Tuesday?
Next. I was feeling just devastated hanging on the end of that phone line. I knew someone was in trouble, but I had no idea who it was and where they were located.
When the phone rings at a communications center, it could be anybody on the line with any kind of problem. Those who take the calls have to be instantly ready to decide what needs to be done. But on September 11th, 1990, a call came into the Matthews Volunteer Rescue Squad in Matthews, Virginia, that left dispatcher Eric Dieters with more questions asked than answered.
I was into my meal probably about 15 minutes when we received the phone call.
Matthews Rescue. Yes. Eric. Who is it?
I heard only one thing, a voice cry, Eric.
Who is it?
I went ahead and told Pat Harrington to pick up the other line so we could hear together what was happening. Maybe the two of us collaborating could piece together the puzzle.
After the pager went off, we could hear just the alert tone, but no dispatcher's voice, which is unusual. Perhaps it was set off by accident.
Paramedic Bob Brown was at a restaurant with his fiancée.
Within a few seconds, it went off again. She keeps saying it off, but she's not saying anything. I wasn't really sure what was happening, but thought maybe she's trying to get our attention because there's somebody in the office. Somebody's broken into the office. She's got a security problem, and she doesn't want to say anything.
On the other side of the county, Sheriff Kenneth Jordan heard the alert tones on his scanner at home.
When I first heard the tones, I was astonished at the way they were going off. It was all mumbled and jumbled in together, just kept pushing them. So I dialed the office. Well, the telephone was answered, but nobody said anything. I was sure that there was something serious, but I couldn't get there in less than 10 minutes. Check to see what's going on at the office. Something is wrong there. Deputy Taylor was already responding to the office when I called him.
The tones kept going off, and the dispatcher wasn't saying anything. I knew something was happening to her, and I knew I had to get to her. I went ahead and told my partner to get one of the ambulances out. And like a light bulb, it clicked in our head almost together. These tones, which only originate at the sheriff's office, and the call on the line were coming from one and the same place.
In a course of just a few seconds, really, we realized what was happening. She's choking. The realization that another person's life is depending on your immediate intervention is a terrifying thought. The sheriff's office is across the court green, a distance probably of maybe 200 yards. If her life depended on it, I had to get there quickly. She was terrified and turning blue. Obviously, she had been without air now for a significant amount of time. I wasn't sure if she would actually be able to make it to the door to open it for me.
Are you choking? Can you speak?
I do the Heimlich maneuver, and nothing happens. And I did it again and again, harder and harder. And I'm thinking to myself, if this thing doesn't come up, this woman's gonna die.
The phones were ringing off the hook. I started answering every call that came in. Most of them were from Mary's concern, to find out whether or not she was okay.
Can you breathe? You're gonna be okay. I went from feeling terrified to feeling ecstatic.
I'm Bob. Nice to meet you.
I had joined the rescue squad recently, and he was in it, but I had never met him until that day.
Dispatcher Mary Ewell had been alone on duty that night.
I really thought I was going to die because I didn't think anybody was going to realize what was going on. When I did hit the tones, just in a matter of 2 minutes, everybody was just there. I couldn't even count how many was there to help. Sometimes living in a small county is nice.
She's all right now?
Yeah, she's all right now. Oh, okay. Setting off the tones was a very, very smart thing to do. That was the only way that we knew that there was anything wrong with her.
Sure you're breathing all right?
Trying to scare us all to death. She was fine, and she said she didn't need to be relieved. She'd go ahead and finish her shift.
How about another piece of candy, Mary?
No, thank you, sure. I do not eat hard candy anymore. No, it's at least if you're going to eat it, you should be with somebody else around that knows the Heimlich.
Mary's mother, Barbara Hudgens, wanted a chance to meet Bob.
Hi.
Hi, Mary.
I have never met Bob Brown, but I do have a big hug and a kiss for him when I do meet him.
This is my mother.
Let's hug. Good to meet you.
He saved a big part of my life when he saved Mary.
I said I wasn't going to cry when I met you, but I can't help it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're
Oh,
very
you a
welcome.
lot.
Mary's a wonderful person.
I know. We thank you so much.
I'm very grateful to be alive. I have 4 wonderful children, and Bob Brown is my lifesaver, and hopefully one day I'll be a grandmother thanks to him.
How you feel being such a hero?
Well, it's kind of embarrassing, really. Yeah,
I don't ever feel that.
No, I think
Any time you save someone's life is a very special thing.
anyone can learn to do the Heimlich maneuver, and the chance to save another person's life is something that will stay with you for as long as you live.
First thing you did was hugged, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of crying on his shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of heavy breathing.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.